The beginning of the year creates a pause, the rest of the year does not. Not because anything suddenly changes, but because people finally stop long enough to notice where they are. Not where they planned to be, not where they'd hoped they'd be by now, but where they actually are. And in that pause, something becomes clear. Most people are not broken. They are capable, they're thoughtful, they're trying, they're working, they're caring for other people, they're carrying responsibility, they're paying attention. But most people are disoriented, surrounded by information, pulled in too many directions, responding to more stimulus than any human nervous system was built to process, making decisions without a clear internal compass. I hear it in the way that people speak. They say, I have so many options, but I don't know which to choose. I'm doing a lot, but I don't feel like I'm moving. I'm tired, but I can't tell you exactly what I'm tired of. Nothing is obviously wrong, and yet nothing feels settled. They're functioning, but they're not oriented. This season is called Reorientation, how to think clearly again. Not to fix anyone, not to motivate, but to restore clarity, agency, and grounded direction. Not long ago, the challenge was access. Now, the challenge is restraint. We're constantly taking in advice, opinions, strategies, warnings, alerts, trends, crises, interpretations of the crises. Our eyes are always moving, our thumbs are always scrolling, and our minds are always switching. The body always bracing. When stimulation never stops, the nervous system never fully settles. And when the nervous system never fully settles, judgment becomes rushed. And when judgment becomes rushed, clarity disappears. We make decisions from tension instead of from understanding, from urgency instead of from alignment, from reaction instead of discernment. You can feel this when you sit in a public place for just a few minutes, a coffee shop, an airport gate, a sidewalk at rush hour. People are moving quickly. Screens are glowing. Notifications are lighting up. Conversations overlap. Music plays. Announcements echo. Someone is always in a hurry to get somewhere else. And in the middle of all of that motion, you might be sitting still, but inside your body is moving too. Your breathing shortens without you noticing. Your jaw tightens up. Your shoulders slightly lift. Your attention jumps every time a sound changes or a screen flashes. Nothing is threatening you, and yet your system is alert, prepared, waiting. It's a low-grade state of urgency that never quite turns off. And from that state, we try to make decisions about our lives, big decisions, quiet decisions, direction-shaping decisions. But discernment doesn't emerge in speed. It emerges in stillness. Judgment does not sharpen under constant stimulation. It clarifies when the system feels safe enough to slow down. Input is easy. Discernment is not. Discernment requires space, not just in the mind, but in the body. It requires the ability to pause long enough to ask, what actually belongs here? What is mine to respond to? What is simply noise passing through? Without that pause, more information does not lead to clarity. It leads to hesitation, second guessing, decision fatigue. You start outsourcing your inner sense of rightness, looking for one more article, one more opinion, one more voice to tell you what to do. And slowly, something deeper happens. You stop trusting yourself. Not dramatically, quietly. You begin to doubt your own timing, your own instincts, sense of when to move and when to wait. You defer, you delay. You stay in motion without direction. Years can pass this way. Busy years, productive years, full years. And one day you realize you've been making choices from pressure instead of from principle, from speed instead of from understanding, from what was the loudest instead of what was the truest. Not because you didn't care, but because your inner compass was never given space to calibrate. This is the cost of losing discernment. Not chaos, not collapse, drift. A subtle drifting away from what you actually value, from what you're responsible for, from the life you're meant to be living. Orientation is not only a mental process, it's a moral and physiological one. It's the sense of understanding somewhere internally, of knowing in your body what direction you're facing, of being able to say quietly and firmly, this is mine to do, this is not. When that's gone, you can still function, you can still perform, you can still succeed on paper, but you don't feel settled on the inside of your own life. This season is about recovering that steadiness, not by adding more content, not by adopting more frameworks, not by chasing certainty, but by slowing down long enough for your system to return to self, by noticing when your body is braced and allowing it to soften, by breathing before reacting, by listening before deciding. Reorientation is not about escape. It's about responsibility. It's about protecting your capacity for judgment in a world that constantly asks you to react. It's about guarding your attention so your life can once again be shaped by what you choose and not by what shouts the loudest. One idea at a time, no urgency, no performance, no need to keep up, just space to think clearly again, space to feel your own signal again, to let your inner compass realign as you move through this season. Carry this with you. Clarity changes what you notice, and what you notice changes how you live.